Please welcome the original Wiggles.
How
good.
Oh, now the originals. These are the Wiggles.
They
When
are.
we grew up, we all had
Yes.
kids, Jimmy boy,
On the oath we did.
and all they wanted to do was watch or go and see the Wiggles, and we've got them on. Welcome to the Rush Hour.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
guys.
Great to be with you guys.
Oh, look
So
at
Jeff,
this.
Greg, and Murray. Anthony not with us just as we speak. But how long for all of you has the absence been? Pardon my ignorance.
Oh,
Our last year was in 2012. That was
yeah,
the last
yeah,
year of
so-
touring.
so 11 years, yeah.
Greg a bit earlier, of course.
Yeah. But Murray, I saw you because we played a little bit of Elephant not long ago, and you were a part of that. Were you all a part of that, or was it just...
Jeff and I were, yeah.
I wasn't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But
it was during COVID and we were only allowed a certain number of people in the studio.
Yeah, right.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
And that won the Triple J Song of the Year.
Yes.
By
Did
the
it?
way.
Hottest 100.
Hottest 100, yeah.
It was so cool. So you're all back. Tell us why you're all back together.
Well, tomorrow there's a documentary called Hot Potato: The Story of the Wiggles coming out on Prime Video, and it's looking at the 30-year history of the Wiggles from beginning to right now, and it's quite an emotional roller coaster, I might say.
Oh, it is for everyone. But
Yep.
and it's funny that because Hot Potato wasn't originally Hot Potato, was it?
No, it was not.
No, we used to busk pre-Wiggles, actually. We were still at university, Greg and I and Anthony, and we used to go out busking with Jeff and John Field, who's Anthony's brother and was in the Cockroaches. And John's really great at just sort of making up songs on the spot, and he made up this song called Hot Tamale, which is, was Hot Tamale, Hot Tamale. And, it was just fun. We all joined in. And a little bit later, once the Wiggles had been going for a year or so, Anthony said, that Hot Tamale song, that'd be a great kids song. But, in Australia, no one's going to know what a tamale is. So it became Hot Potato.
And the vernacular that has come out of his Fats Heads, these incredible albums. We all had the kids and we all sat them down and watched all of the amazing DVDs. But Wake Up Jeff has now gone into the Australian vernacular. If someone's dopey, the other Wake Up.
Exactly.
It's amazing.
Yeah, like when we wrote that song, Anthony said to me, "Your life is not going to be the same after this." and I said, "Oh, no, it'll be okay." And it's really like it's exploded.
People say it to him in the street. The funny thing is, people say it to me in the street sometimes.
and when I was away on tour, I got reports back from my neighbours that teenagers are somewhat intoxicated at like 2:00 in the morning would go past my place when I'm not there, calling out "Wake Up, Jeff."
So the neighbours love Jeff.
Yeah, very popular.
Yeah. What about the celebrities? You would have had them trying to get you to their parties or something like that, or trying to get tickets to gigs, I reckon. And did you ever on stage look out and go, "Oh, there's Thingo," or "There's whoever"? Did you do that?
Yes, definitely. We did that, particularly a lot in the US. People like Robert De Niro, Jerry Seinfeld would come to the shows.
They were
Chris
at the
Rock.
same show, and that was in the really early days
Yeah.
in America for us. So it was kind of pretty freaky.
Oh, and what about your first show in America? There was only 5 people there. Was that right?
Yes, that's true.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. 2 of them were the publicists, and the other 3 were their children. So it wasn't an easy job to break into the US. It took a lot of effort and a lot of work.
Well, Greg, I think I've discussed this with you before, but my favourite, and there are many because I have had 4 boys and they've all grown up on the Wiggles, but my favourite song, I don't think would be necessarily many people's favourite song.
No, it's
but,
not.
Hit it, Rabs.
That's
I eat grass and I moo all day. I'm a cat.
Moo.
I'm a cat.
Moo.
I eat
So,
green
that was on high rotation in my car, and I'd always get my moo out before the proper moo.
I could hear
much
that then.
to my kids' disgust.
Yeah.
Exactly. Dad, you're getting it all wrong.
It's all in the timing.
That's it.
It was fun doing the OG concerts because that gave me the opportunity to don the cow suit and go out into the audience and moo along.
Who was the most favourite? Dorothy, or was it Captain Feathersword? Who was the most popular?
Oh, look, I think Dorothy's well loved universally. Captain Feathersword, I think, hit a special spot with some of the mums out there, to be honest.
Niche market.
Yeah, niche market.
Well, so it must happen a lot.
How do you spell it?
Murray, you must get. Well, we're dingbats doing it to you now, but you
Yeah.
must get people come up to you all the time going, "Thank you.
Yes.
You got my kids through from about age 3 to 10."
Yeah, we do, and it's always nice to hear. We love to hear it. Like, you made a difference in people's lives, and we get a lot of young adults now, and that's kind of why we started doing the OG shows for the sort of 20-somethings, because so many 20-somethings would come up to me in the street, or I'd go to a lot of, go and see a lot of bands, and they'd come up and they want to give you a hug. There'd be like some 6'5" guy with tattoos and a beard, and he'd say, "Can I give you a hug?" So you're such a big part of my childhood, and it's really gratifying.
And we're talking Elephant before. You're all accomplished musicians,
Yeah.
and not just with the Wiggles. You're rock musicians and popular music artists. So you still do all of that.
Yeah, a little bit on the side.
A little bit, but
Yeah,
this guy
I-
here does it a lot.
Yeah, I have a band called the Soul Movers, and we just put out our fourth album, little plug here, called Dumb Luck. And so I still do quite a lot of gigs, and it's great. I'll probably end up dying on stage. Well, I've done that before.
Well, you never exactly.
Oh, sorry, Greg.
All right, we're going to
That's
hold
all right, I
on
was
to you three.
resuscitated.
More to come with the OG Wiggles next.
Wiggles.
More with Murray, Greg, and Jeff from the Wiggles next on the Rush Hour. Murray, Greg, and Jeff from the Wiggles have stuck around. By the way, Hot Potato, the story of the Wiggles, premieres exclusively tomorrow on Prime Video. It's a story you must watch, JB.
No, it's a ridiculous story. We were just talking about the merch with the boys because I've got a mutual friend who's been looking after a fair bit of that for you over the journey. But the big red car, that outsold most Australian cars. I reckon I had 3 of them.
Yes, exactly.
Used to have the door that swung open and they'd
that's it.
jam your kid in there and they'd go up and down on the pavement.
Push them down the hill. They'd roll and roll.
And roll, that was fine. It was all good. Hey, guys, tell us about Madison Square Garden. We were also just talking about this. 12 days in a row sold out, and that's just a tick under 20,000 people each time. Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. The whole ride in America was pretty wild. It's something we didn't really expect, and when it took off, it kind of took us by surprise a bit. But Madison Square Garden's kind of is a byword for like big time. So that was sort of one of the pinnacles.
Yeah, seeing your name up in lights on the
Oh, yeah.
marquee outside
Yeah.
MSG there, it's fantastic.
Oh,
yeah.
that's huge. Hey, what about the TV? You tried to spoke to a few producers about getting on TV, and they said they were embarrassed by you guys. Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know why they'd be embarrassed by the Wiggles, but I mean, we kind
My
of
kids were embarrassed by us.
we sort of thought we knew what we were doing, but no, they didn't like Dorothy. They didn't like us talking down the camera to the audience. They didn't like a lot of things. They wanted to change our skivvies. But no, we just said, look, we're the Wiggles. We think we know what we're doing. We've had a few successes so far. Let's stick at it, boys. And we did. We turned down the big executives and went our own way, and
Great.
we continued to do well.
Now, speaking of the skivvies, no one wanted the yellow one and sucked in. Greg, you got it.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Yeah.
Jeff and I fortunately had our own colours already.
We had that
so
sorted.
And Anthony and I went shopping together because the photo shoot for the album was the next day. We didn't have skivvies, but we walked into the department store and saw the blue skivvy on the back wall, and we both ran for it. Now, JB, I know we've played cricket together. You've probably seen how slow of a runner I am.
And I was slower than you.
Yeah, well, you would have lost the race too. Anthony got to the blue skivvy, and the one next to it was yellow. So I ended up with the yellow skivvy.
Oh, I love it. So, tell us a bit about the documentary. What's coming up for Wiggles fans that they won't know? Is there any little snippets?
Oh, look, I think what they're going to get out of this is they're going to see the people behind the skivvies, if you know what I mean, or people inside the skivvies, perhaps. And it's a real roller coaster journey of emotions, because probably what they don't, I mean, I know that they know this now that they're adults, but there were human beings there that lived lives outside of the Wiggles, and we had struggles, we had challenges, health problems, emotional problems, and I think that part really makes it a lot more real for people rather than just the bright, happy side of the Wiggles. What would you say, Muzz, about that?
Yeah, same thing, really. I mean, it's kind of hard for us because we lived inside the bubble to know what people know and don't know. But I think there'll be lots of things that people don't know about us.
Yeah, there'll be a
Have
lot-
you gone to sleep, Jeff?
No, I was
Wake
about
up!
I was waiting for the wake up.
Still got it.
A lot of the vision is taken from the photographs that I've been taking since 1990. I've created this photo diary, which I thought I would remember a lot more things from a photo than actually writing stuff down. So a lot of those images are in the movie, and I look back at a lot of those, and you're wondering sometimes where was that photo? Who was that photo of?
Yeah, but Jeff, that's because you're asleep all the time. You don't remember anything of that.
And I'm much older than you guys.
Hey, we got to ask you because, of course, the great SK Warren,
Oh, he loved the
great
Wiggles.
mates with Chris Martin, with Mick Jagger, with Ed Sheeran, and great mates of the Wiggles.
He was.
Used to
was.
hit you up for tickets.
Yeah, he was a big fan of the Wiggles, and of course, Warnie would do anything for his kids. I remember sitting on the back of the tour bus in the US. We were just about to come back home to do some shows in Australia, and who should text me but the good old SK Warren saying, "Mate, can I get some tickets for my kids to the Wiggles in Melbourne when you're there?" And of course, we'd always oblige because Warnie's such a great guy.
I think we dropped into a kid's party at his place too, didn't we? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He would have.
Yeah, it
he
was
had
good.
everything at his joint.
You had to jump on those texts pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. You didn't get any other text, did you? That got mixed up, Greggy boy.
Sometimes you just had to make sure that that was meant for you.
He,
that's
he
all.
was he was only asking for tickets, so I think it was meant for us. Yeah.
Oh, I love this. You
Oh,
blokes are
great.
such legends. It's
Bloody
been so
oath.
cool to chat to you. And I can't wait to have a look at this exclusive Prime video tomorrow, Hot Potato. And you can find out about this much loved part of Australian subculture.
That's it. Murray, Greg, and Jeff, the original Wiggles on the Rush Hour. Hot Potato, the story of the Wiggles, premieres exclusively tomorrow on Prime Video. It's the Rush Hour.
Well done, gentlemen.
Thanks,
Thank you
boys.
so
guys.
much for joining
Nice
us.
talking to you.
Superb.
Appreciate it.